Hello, today I will be showing and guiding you what are my expectations from the group presentations, how you should structure it, and what is the content that should be included here. Let's first start with a blank PowerPoint presentation, and I'll put a key structure here and then start filling up the structure. Okay, first one is, so I'll take a topic which is not related to the topics that you have in the syllabus, but it's also from the same area. So I'll look at the toxic organizations and how does the existence of toxic organization influence the behavior of the people, individuals, and generally how the organization functions. Let's add a title. I have a blank PowerPoint presentation opened. I'll add a title, Toxic Organization. I'll put in my name here, and you should put all the student names and IDs who will be presenting this specific topic. And just as a kind reminder that all of you should participate in creating the group presentations and presenting them. Maya Georgolidze, and I'll put a date here, January 20th, 2023. Let's put some design on it. You should spend more time designing, like structuring it nicely. I'll just do a very basic one. See, the Google offers me now a couple of designs because I have enabled the tab, which is here on the top. You go design, then on the left it says designer. See, do you see designer tab? If I click it, it gives me the options. But I don't want this, so I'll take this one. Okay, toxic organization. What I'll do is, so here is a text box. I select it, shape format, shape fill here. You do the white fill, and then you see here text fill. Let's do text fill. There are different options for text fill. What I'll do is, see, you have an eyedropper, so you can pinpoint which color you would like. So I'll take eyedropper and I'll take this one. Okay. See, and now kind of the presentation is coherent and structured, like in the color wise. My that could be this way, or I could do the same. You could play around that. Okay. Next one is insert, new slide, and here title and content. This next one should be structure of the presentation, which gives the audience the information what happens next today, how you will be presenting it. Generally, the structure, I have an expectation from you, is that first we do what does toxic organization mean? Okay, for your case, it should be what does digitalization mean? What does artificial intelligence? What does people's approach mean? What does sustainability or green practice mean? Like those type of definitions are very important because most of us being in an audience would not know the topic. So it is important that with your introduction, you bring us all up to same level, and then you kind of go into deeper and how it's beneficial and give us the examples of it. Okay, first one is how does toxic organization mean? But in vast majority of the titles, how I've designed is that artificial intelligence and organizational behavior, like digitalization and organizational behavior. So please don't add the definitions from what is organizational behavior. Just focus on what is digitalization. The way why I've structured that way the titles is that digitalization can happen everywhere, but I would like us to frame our research or the content on the organization process itself, and we'll look within the organization, like how the people interact, how does digitalization influence group interactions, work productivity, like those type of issues that happens within the organization and helps the organization to function better. Therefore, our limit is the organizational framework. So how do we look at those topics within the organization internally? So first we look at structure. What does a toxic organization mean? Signs of toxic organization. So how do I know that this is a toxic organization? In your case, we can start directly. What are the advantages and disadvantages of toxic organization? And you can say how it influences the operations or something like that. Next one would be, so we look at what are the benefits and not benefits, right? Constraints, either artificial intelligence, either green practices, either people approach, like whatever approach you should take. We look at both sides. What are positives and negatives? Science, we give what does the research say? Evidence from literature, which means that evidence from research. Which means that what does research say? Are toxic organizations better to work at better or worse? How how should we know that our organization is toxic from the research perspective? In your case, for instance, if you talk about green practices, how, if there is a research that, for instance, introduction of green practices influence the organization development or behavior within the people. So those type of researches are very important. And I'll show you how to Google them. There are like different ways we can search for them. Then we do an examples of toxic organization. You would bring examples. For instance, if we talk about digitalization, what are those examples of digital processes? Did they have a HR process digitalized and they do a recruitment fully digitally, for instance? There could be a procurement process. In other ways, for the artificial intelligence, maybe they've introduced some bot that would answer the customer questions, and so they don't have to have staff there answering the customer questions. If you are talking about cybersecurity, did they put some new processes in place there? So those type of examples are very important, so we as an audience have a proper understanding of it. Example of toxic organization, and then references. Okay. My font here that I'm using is Jill Sans Nova. So this one is Calibri. I have to synchronize it. So I'll select and I'll use Jill Sans Nova. And then I'll increase in size a little bit. And you look here, this is this line spacing. I'll do 1.5 line spacing. Okay, looks nice. You can do many more designs, but I'm just giving you the structure. Okay, insert a new slide. Okay, so our first was what does toxic organization mean? So I'll put here. So we prepare slides for that. What does toxic organization mean? Now we have to search for it. There are a couple ways we do searching for. Whether we do Google searching or we search it through academic literature. Let's first start searching through academic literature. So we go to cbu.ca. There is a library function here. We can go on databases or we can go under search. Let's search toxic organization. The only thing is that we can have it this way, S as well, or Z, like some of the, because of this in UK and US English, some of those Z and S could give us different searches. Okay. Navigating space, we don't need this one. Toxic workplace. So we either look at peer-reviewed journals or we look at books. Mostly they talk about toxic chemicals. There should be something, see, company on the couch, unveiling toxic behavior in dysfunctional organizations. We want this one. So with a right click, I'll do open link in a new tab. So I have it saved. toxic workplace environment in search of healthcare sector. Okay, let's search this one too. Let's go on the second page, and we do academic libraries and avoiding a toxic literature, but it's 1998, a little bit outdated. Let's look on a better, like newer content there. Our toxic, no, we don't need this one. Learning from toxic branches. The effect of organizational on teachers, imagining management, probability of work. Okay. Dynamic energy. But they have a lot of search on like toxic in terms of like health related one. Okay. Okay, it should be, we can look at these two content. So first one is company on the couch, unveiling toxic behavior in dysfunctional organizations. Here is download PDF. You should be able to download PDF if you are linked to, if you are already registered in a library. This is a book itself. So this is a book itself. There is a link for the publication. I can click that. It does not continue. Okay, I'll continue. So it's SEG journals because it gives me the citation option as well. So we read this the whole paper. Here you can see the PDF, or you can read the whole PDF version. You read the paper, and there are the cases here. Emotional intelligence and skyways aerospace. It shows us some research. It shows us the cases. So you can bring the cases as well from and you can bring the, like, you read and summarize and then put on a PowerPoint. However, only one literature would not be enough, and we need to do more than one, definitely. More than one, definitely. So we have to look at different ones. So this is the first one, but you do the reading. Like, I won't spend time on like reviewing it now. But the more paper you read, the more in-depth understanding you have about the content, because the audience will be asking a lot of diverse range of questions. Therefore, you should be ready to answer those ones, not only the ones that are in a, like on a Google search results. Okay, so you will read this one, and how to cite it. So you have here cite article, and then you give it. You have copy citation, and for now I have generally Word file open where I compile. For these are the references. For instance, I'll reference it here, and then I'll copy later in PowerPoint so I can have a whole list of compilation. Okay, you will do the reading. Next one is that we read toxic workplace environment in search for the toxic behaviors, available online. So, okay, let's see. It should let us open the URL connection. Okay, we got it. So this is the toxic workplace environment. In search for the toxic behaviors, you should also read this text, and here at the end they've indicated how they would like to cite it. So we copy it and save. No, it didn't copy. So we do copy and paste it. Okay, done. So you do the reading as well. You analyze what does it offer and then summarize in a PowerPoint presentation. Second one. Now and you continue, like we need up to like probably you should read up to like 5, 6, maybe even more papers to have an understanding. But now let's do a Google search. Let's review if definition. Let's review if Harvard Business Review talked about anything a toxic workplace. Generally, once we do a Google search, we use synonyms. So first we have toxic organization. Then toxic workplace. So different content might show up as a result of your search. Therefore, please use a variety of words, but in a similar context, so that you get as many options as possible. Okay, so the Harvard Business Review is usually a very trustworthy source that publishes very top-notch and very recent publications. So it would show how to recover from a toxic job. That could be a nice. How to protect him. Time's up for work. Toxic workplace. Let's read this one. How to manage toxic employees. Leaders stop rewarding toxic rock stars. Like a lot of papers on that. So Harvard usually, I'll close this one. Harvard Business Review one is usually very interesting to read. And you can, here it provides the recent studies by MTI's management found that the number of reasons people leave their job is 10 times more likely to contribute to attribution than compensation. So these are the studies that I'm talking about. So the more you read the papers, the more source of information you have, and usually Harvard Business Review information is based on a lot of research, so the research findings should be there as well. And you do the reading. There are times up for toxic workplace, and you can do the reading as well. So Harvard Business Review is one of the sources. Another one is toxic workplace, could be McKinsey. Let's see if they have McKinsey Consulting. So McKinsey, you can use McKinsey for a lot of pretty much for all the topics that's out there, because they do a lot of research on this, like organizational development, organizational behavior. So you should be able to find some very useful information there. See, toxic workplace, McKinsey and Company. So see, toxic workplace behavior, they have negative outcomes, positive outcomes. They have very nice studies here. Either what we can do, either you can you can summarize this in a research, put in your own words, or saying that 73% of people they had intent to leave because they were feeling that the organization was toxic, and like only 3% said that they had job satisfaction. Therefore, you can see that contributing to workplace outcomes. Okay, and it is very interesting to read those type of researches. Therefore, McKinsey and Company is usually one of the sources that I highly recommend for you to read. Okay, what else is there? Moving the needle or burnout, what does it mean? And toxic workplace behavior. They put some on LinkedIn as well. Is our office culture toxic? That could be one of them. So you research all of that, and at the end we come up with the content. So you will have a content. If it's a definition, you copy and paste, but you include the source in the references. But how I would like to structure it, I'll show you one slide so you have a better understanding in terms of the structure. So here, what that toxic organization means, we need to do view, and here is a notes page. No, we don't normal. We need notes. Notes master. Now, come on. We need home view normal. Where are we? Where is my notes page here? Notes here. Here is the notes page. So here is a note page. You can move up and down. So once you put a small definition here under toxic organization mean, the rest of the content goes on a notes page. For instance, where was my definition of the for instance, I'll say that let me get some definition. What is or toxic Toxic organization and definition. Okay. I don't usually look at Wikipedia. Let's do some of the other ones. There are 5 biggest signs. HRPS is interesting. There should be some HR Canada as well. Yeah, HRD Canada is usually a good source as well. Okay, toxic workplace. What is a toxic work culture? Every now and then employees influence when a workplace is a truly dysfunctional norm in spirited behavior. It is when dominant daily domination is anxiety. People fear that they will be bullied, humiliated. Yeah, we can copy this one. Who has heard? And then we will source it. Yeah, but we'll put source down there. But here, for instance, I'm just copying and pasting to show you how you should. However, you should read and summarize, but I'm just giving you the information how you should do it. And then we copy this content. We cannot put all of this on a slide, uh, main content, but we'll put the notes. So you will see that notes have a higher, bigger, more of an in-depth information, while the slide has just a definition, and then you will add other definitions there, other options for definition. But the notes section should be utilized to expand the content so that everyone knows if they want to read a little bit more, there is an information here. So you next continue the same way. You add a slide on signs. You add a slide for what are the advantages. For the research, you can say you can use this McKinsey company researches and source them, but they are on most of the topics they should have information. If not, once you read the Harvard Business Review topics, there it says that the research says this. The research, the evidence shows this, and then this is an example. So that this productivity reduces 10 times, for instance, in toxic organizations, or the employee satisfaction is very, very low. So this is information that's backed up with data. So therefore, we need to show that this is really exists. Then you bring a couple of examples, which means that what does, like, for instance, there was this Southwestern Airlines, and they had this workplace culture, and that's what they did. This is how management behaved, and this is how company people reacted on it. So you bring 2, 3 examples. uh, if you would like, you can bring some small group exercise, or some fun like role play to demonstrate the topic, but let's pre-agree that so that we consider relevant timing for it. Generally, you have 20 minutes for presentation, and each and every group member should do it. And after the 20 minutes, we would have like 5 minutes question and answer discussion within the class. And then we include references. What does it mean? That, let me do a new slide, insert new slide at the end. We do references. Currently, I have 2 references in my Word file, and I copy them. But you will add others. If it's a website and it's a McKinsey & Company, you write McKinsey & Company and put the link on it. If it's a study conducted by them, McKinsey & Company employee engagement study, for instance, and then you put the link. So we need a definition what you are sourcing, and then the link if you've browsed from online sources. Harvard Business Review journal, title, and then the link. So this should be referenced. So if someone would like to read additional information, they should have sources there. It is a very important information. Once we finish, what you can also do is you can click Control A, and you can do transitions. And these transitions allow you to gives the to how one slide is transited to another. For instance, if I click push, yeah, the presentation is showing this way. Yeah, and then you click Control A. If you would like to click wipe, this slide is transitioned this way. Yeah, it's up to you. However, so the first slide should be definitely the landing page, then structure, then you do the content, and you do the references, and the last one is thank you. Thank you very much. Or questions, answers, and then you can design respectively. But this generally, the research says that 1 minute per slide, so we are talking 20 minutes, at least 20 slides should be there without landing page and the thank you and references. So your main body content text from slide 2 to probably the next slides before references should be around 20. So you should end up with 22 slides at least with toxic and thank you very much slide without references. It depends how many sources you will use. You may add 2-3 slides for references or just one slide. It depends. Therefore, this is average range of slides that I'm expecting from you. At the end, once the presentation is done, you submit it through Moodle. We upload it on Moodle, and everyone has access to it so that other groups can also read it. Thank you very much, and good luck.